Bridegroom Dick by Herman Melville. Sunning ourselves in October on a day balmy as spring. Though the year was in decay, I lading my pipe, she stirring her tea. My old woman, she says to me, feel ye, old man, how the season mellows? And why should I not, blessed heart alive, here mellowing myself, past 65, to think o' the Maytime o' pennoned. Young fellows, this stripped old hulk here for years may survive. Ere yet, long ago, we were spliced, Bonny Blue, Silvery it gleams down the moon-glade o' time. Ah, sugar in the bowl and berries in the prime. Coxswain I o' the Commodore's crew, under me the fellows that manned his fine gig, spinning him ashore, a king in full fig. Chirrupy even, when crosses rubbed me, Bridegroom Dick lieutenants dubbed me, pleasant at a yarn, Bob o' Linkum in a song, diligent in duty and nattily arrayed, favored I was, wife, and fleeted right along. And though but a tot for such a tall grade, a high quartermaster at last I was made. All this, old lassie, you have heard before, but you listen again for the sake e'en o' me. No babble stales o' the good times o' yore to Joan, if Darby the babbler be. Babbler? O what? Addled brains, they forget. Oh, Quartermaster I. Yes, the signal set, hoisted the ensign, mended it when frayed, polished up the binnacle, minded the helm, and prompt every order blithely obeyed. To me would the officers say a word, cheery. Break through the starch o' the quarter-deck realm. His coxswain late, so the Commodore's pet. I, and in night watches long and weary, bored nigh to death with the navy etiquette, yearning, too, for fun, some younker, a cadet, dropping for time each vain bumptious trick, boy-like would unbend to Bridegroom Dick. But a limit there was, check, ye see. Those fine young aristocrats knew their degree. Well, stationed aft where their lordships keep, seldom going forward excepting to sleep, I, boozing now on bygone years, my betters recall along with my peers. Recall them, wife, but I see them plain. Alive, alert, every man stirs again. I, and again on the lee side, pacing, my spy-glass carrying, a truncheon in show, turning at the taffrail, my footsteps retracing, proud in my duty, again methinks I go. And Dave, dainty Dave, I mark where he stands, our trim sailing master, to time the high noon, that thingambob sextant perplexing eyes and hands, squinting at the sun, or twigging o' the moon, then, touching his cap to old chalk a block commanding the quarter-deck, Sir, 12 o'clock. Where sails he now, that trim sailing master, slender, yes, as the ship's skysail pole? Dimly I mind me of some sad disaster, dainty Dave was dropped from the navy roll. And for old Lieutenant Chalk a block, fast, wife, chalk fast to death's black dock. Buffeted about the obstreperous ocean, fleeted his life, if lagged his promotion. Little girl, they are all gone, I think, leaving Bridegroom Dick here with lids that wink. Where is Ap Catesby? The fights fought of yore famed him, and laced him with epaulets, and more. But fame is a wake that after wakes cross, and the waters wallow all, and laugh where's the loss, but John Bull's bullet in his shoulder bearing ballasted Ap in his long sea faring. The middies they ducked to the man who had messed with Decatur in the gunroom, or forward pressed fighting beside Perry, Hull, Porter, and the rest. Humped veteran o' the heart o' Oak War, moored long in haven where the old heroes are. Never on you did the ironclads jar. Your open deck when the border assailed, the frank old heroic hand to hand then availed. But where's Gert gone? Still heads he the van? As before Vera Cruz, when he dashed splashing through the blue rollers sunned, in his brave gold and blue, and, ere his cutter in keel took the strand, aloft waved his sword on the hostile land. Went up the cheering, the quick chanticleering, all hands vying, all colors flying, cock-a-doodle-doo, and, row, boys, row. Hey, starry banner, hi, Santa Ana. Old Scott's young dash at Mexico, fine forces o' the land, fine forces o' the sea, fleet, army, and flotilla. Tell, heart o' me, tell, if you can. Where away now they be? But ah, how to speak of the hurricane unchained? The Union strands parted in the hawser overstrained. Our flag blown to shreds, anchors gone altogether. The dashed fleet o' states in secession's foul weather. Lost in the smother o' that wide public stress, in hearts, private hearts, what ties there were snapped. Tell, Hal vouch, will, o' the ward-room mess, on you how the riving thunderbolt clapped. With a bead in your eye and beads in your glass, and a grip o' the flipper, it was part and pass. Hal, must it be? Well, if come indeed the shock, to north or to south, let the victory cleave, vaunt it he may on his dunghill the cock, but Uncle Sam's eagle never crow. Will, believe, sentiment. I, while suspended hung all, ere the guns against Sumter opened there the ball, and partners were taken, and the red dance began, war's red dance o' death. Well, we, to a man, we sailors o' the North, wife, how could we lag? Strike with your kin, and you stick to the flag. But to sailors o' the South that easy way was barred. To some, dame, believe, and I speak o' what I know. Wormwood the trial and the Uzite's black shard, and the faithfuller the heart, the crueller the throw. Duty? It pulled with more than one string, this way and that, and anyhow a sting. The flag and your kin, how be true unto both? If either plight ye keep, then ye break the other troth. But elect here they must, though the casuists were out. Decide, hurry up, and throttle every doubt. Of all these thrills thrilled at Kelson, and throws, little felt the shoddyites a toasting o' their toes. In mart and bazaar lucre chuckled the huzza, coining the dollars in the bloody mint of war. But in men, grey knights o' the order Oscars, and brave boys bound by vows unto Mars, nature grappled honor, intertwisting in the strife, but some cut the knot with a thoroughgoing knife. For how when the drums beat, how in the fray in Hampton Roads on the fine balmy day, there a lull, wife, befell, drop o silent in the din. Let us enter that silence ere the belchings re-begin. Through a ragged rift, aslant in the cannonade's smoke an iron-clad reveals her repellent broadside bodily intact. But a frigate, all oak, shows honeycombed by shot, and her deck crimson dyed. And a trumpet from port of the ironclad hails, summoning the other, whose flag never trails. Surrender that frigate, Will. Surrender, or I will sink her. Ram, and end her. T. Was Hal, and Will, from the naked heart o' oak, Will, the old messmate, minus trumpet, spoke, informally intrepid, sink her, and be damned. Asterisk historic. Enough. Gathering way, the ironclad rammed. The frigate, heeling over, on the wave through a dusk. Not sharing in the slant, the clapper of her bell the fixed metal struck. You invoked struck the knell of the Cumberland stilettoed by the Merrimac's tusk. While, broken in the wound underneath the gun deck, like a swordfish's blade in Leviathan waylaid, the tusk was left infixed in the fast foundering wreck. There, dungeoned in the cockpit, the wounded go down, and the chaplain with them. But the surges uplift the prone dead from deck, and for moment they drift washed with the swimmers, and the spent swimmers drown. 9 fathom did she sink, erect, though hid from light save her colors unsurrendered and spars that kept the height. Nay, pardon, old auntie, wife, never let it fall, that big started tear that hovers on the brim. I forgot about your nephew and the Merrimac's ball. No more then of her, since it summons up him. But talk o' fellows' hearts in the wine's genial cup. Trap them in the fate, jam them in the straight. Guns speak their hearts then, and speak right up. The troublous colic o' intestine war it sets the bowels o' affection ajar. But, Lord, old dame, so spins the whizzing world, a humming top. Aye, for the little boy gods flogging it well with their smart little rods, tittering at time in the coil uncurled. Now, sweetheart, you sidle away. No, never you like that kind o' gay. but sour if I get, giving truth her due, honey sweet forever, wife, will Dick be to you. But avast with the war. Why recall racking days since set up anew are the slips? Started stays? Nor less, though the gale we have left behind, well may the heave o' the sea remind. It irks me now, as it troubled me then, to think o' the fate in the madness o' men. If Dick was with Farragut on the night river, when the boom chain we burst in the fire raft's glare, that blood dyed the visage as red as the liver, in the battle for the bay too if Dick had a share, and saw one aloft a piloting the war, trumpet in the whirlwind, a providence in place, our admiral old whom the captains huzza, Dick joys in the man nor brags about the race. But better, wife, I like to booze on the days ere the old order foundered in these very frays, and tradition was lost and we learned strange ways. Often I think on the brave cruises then, re-sailing them in memory, I hail the press o' men on the gun promenade where rolling they go, ere the dog watch expire and break up the show. The laced caps I see between forward guns, away from the powder room they puff the cigar. 3 days more, hey, the Donnas and the Dons. Your Zier's widow, will you hunt her up, star? The laced caps laugh, and the bright waves too. Very jolly, very wicked, both sea and crew, nor heaven looks sour on either, I guess, nor Pecksniff he bosses the gods' high mess. Wistful ye peer, wife, concerned for my head, and how best to get me betimes to my bed. But king o' the club, the gayest golden spark, sailor o' sailors, what sailor do I mark? Tom Tight, no fine fellow finer, a cutwater nose, I, a spirited soul. But, bowsing away at the well-brewed bowl, he never bowled back from that last voyage to China. Tom was lieutenant in the brig o' war famed when an officer was hung for an arch-mutineer, but a mystery cleaved, and the captain was blamed, and a rumpus too raised, though his honor it was clear. And Tom he would say, when the mousers would try him, and with cup after cup o' burgundy ply him, gentlemen, in vain with your wassail you beset, for the more I tipple, the tighter do I get. No blabber, no, not even with the can, true to himself and loyal to his clan. Tom blessed us starboard and Dias larboard, right down from rail to the streak o' the garboard. Nor less, wife, we liked him. Tom was a man in contrast queer with Chaplain Lafan, who blessed us at morn, and at night yet again, ning us only in decorous strain, preaching, tween the guns, each cutlass in its place, from text that averred old Adam a hard case. I see him, Tom, on horse block standing, trumpet at mouth, thrown up all amain, an elephant's bugle, vociferous demanding of topmen aloft in the hurricane of rain, letting that sail there your faces flog? Manhandle it, men, and you'll get the good grog. Oh Tom, but he knew a blue jacket's ways, and how a lieutenant may genially haze only a sailors heartily praise. Wife, where be all these chaps, I wonder? Trumpets in the tempest, terrors in the fray, boomed their commands along the deck like thunder, but silent is the sod, and thunder dies away. But Captain Turret, old Hemlock, tall, a leaning tower when his tank brimmed all, maneuver out alive from the war. Did he, or, too old for that, drift under the lee, Kentuckian colossal, who, touching at Madeira, the huge puncheon shipped o' prime Santa Clara, then rocked along the deck so solemnly? No whit the less though judicious was enough in dealing with the Finn who made the great huff. Our three-decker's giant, a grand boatswain's mate, manliest of men in his own natural senses, but driven stark mad by the devil's drugged stuff, storming all aboard from his run ashore late, challenging to battle, vouchsafing no pretenses, a reeling King Og, delirious in power, the quarter-deck carronades he seemed to make cower. Put him in brig there, said Lieutenant Moreau. Put him in brig, back he mocked like a parrot. Try it, then. Swaying a fist like Thor's sledge, and making the pygmy constables hedge, ship's corporals and the master at arms. In brig there, I say. They dally no more, Like hounds let slip on a desperate boar, together they pounce on the formidable fin, pinion and cripple and hustle him in. Anon, under sentry, between twin guns, he slides off in drowse, and the long night runs. Morning brings a summons, whistling it calls, shrilled through the pipes of the boatswain's four aids, trilled down the hatchways along the dusk halls, muster to the scourge. Dawn of doom and its blast, as from cemeteries raised, sailors swarm before the mast, tumbling up the ladders from the ship's nether shades, keeping in the background and taking small part, lounging at their ease, indifferent in face, behold the trim marines uncompromised in heart. Their major, buttoned up, near the staff finds room. The staff lieutenants standing grouped in their place. All the laced caps the wardroom come, the chaplain among them, disciplined and dumb. The blue-nosed boatswain, complexioned like slag, like a blue Monday lowers, his implements in bag. Executioners, his aids, a couple by him stand, at a nod there the thongs to receive from his hand. Never venturing a caveat whatever may betide, though functionally here on humanity's side, the grave surgeon shows, like the formal physician attending the rack the Spanish Inquisition, the angel the brig, brings his prisoner up. Then, steadied by his old Santa Clara, a sup, heading all erect, the ranged assizes there, lo, Captain Turret, and under starred bunting, a florid full face and fine silvered hair. Gigantic the yet greater giant confronting. Now the culprit he liked, as a tall captain can a Titan subordinate and true sailorman. And frequent he'd shown it, no worded advance, but flattering the fin with a well-timed glance. But what of that now? In the martinet mean read the articles of war, heed the naval routine. While, cut to the heart a dishonor there to win, restored to his senses, stood the Anik Finn. In racked self-control the squeezed tears peeping, scalding the eye with repressed inkeeping. Discipline must be. The scourge is deemed due, but for the sickening and strange heart benumbing, compassionate abasement in shipmates that view such a grand champion shamed their succumbing. Brown, tie him up. The cord he brooked. How else? His arms spread apart, never threeping. No, never he flinched, never sideways he looked. Peeled to the waistband, the marble flesh creeping, lashed by the sleet the officious winds urge. In function his fellows their fellowship merge. The twain standing nigh, the two boatswain's mates, sailors of his grade, and brothers of his mess. With sharp thongs adroop the junior one awaits the word to uplift. Untie him. So, submission is enough. Man, you may go. Then, promenading aft, brushing fat purser smart, flog? Never meant it. Hadn't any heart. Degrade that tall fellow? Such, wife, was he, old Captain Turret, who the brave wine could stow. Magnanimous, you think. But what does Dick see? Apron to your eye. Why, never fell a blow. Cheer up, old Wi-Fi, tea was a long time ago. But where's that sore one, crabbed and severe, Lieutenant Lon Lumbago, an arch scrutineer? Call the roll today. Would he answer? Here. When the Blixham's fellows to quarters mustered, how he'd lurch along the lane of gun crews clustered, testy as touchwood, to pry and to peer. Jerking his sword underneath larboard arm, he ground his worn grinders to keep himself calm. Composed in his nerves, from the fidgets set free, tell, sweet wrinkles, alive now is he, in paradise a parlor where the even tempers be? Where's Commander all a tonto? Where's Orlop Bob singing up from below? Where's Rhyming Ned? Has he spun his last canto? Where's Jewsharp Jim? Where's Ringadoon Joe? For the music over and done, the band all dismissed save the drone trombone. Where's Glen the gunroom, who loved hot scotch? Glen, prompt and cool in a perilous watch. Where's flaxen-haired Phil? A grey lieutenant? Or rubicund, flying a dignified pennant? But where sleeps his brother? The cruise it was o'er, but for death's grip that welcomed him ashore. Where's Sid, the cadet, so frank in his brag? whose toast was audacious. Here's Sid, and Sid's flag. Like holiday craft that have sunk unknown. May a lark of a lad go lonely down? Who takes the census under the sea? Can others, like old ensigns be, bunting I hoisted to flutter at the gaff? Rags in end that once were flags gallant streaming from the staff? Such scurvy doom could the chances deal to top-gallant Harry and Jack Gentile? Lo, genteel Jack in hurricane weather, shagged like a bear, like a red lion roaring. But oh, so fine in his chapeau and feather, in port to the ladies never once jawing. All bland politesse, how urbane was he. Oui, Mademoiselle, moche gur Amy. T was Jack got up the ball at Naples, gay in the old Ohio glorious. His hair was curled by the birthdeck barber, never you'd deemed him a cub of rude Boreas. In tight little pumps, with the grand dames in rout, a flinging his shapely foot all about. His watch chain with love's jeweled tokens abounding, curls ambrosial shaking out odors, waltzing along the batteries, astounding the gunner glum and the grim-visaged loaders. Wife, where be all these blades, I wonder, pennoned fine fellows, so strong, so gay? Never their colors with a dip dived under, have they hauled them down in a lack-luster day, or beached their boats in the far, far away? Hither and thither, blown wide asunder, where's this fleet, I wonder and wonder? Slipped their cables, rattled their adieu, whereaway pointing? To what rendezvous? Out of sight, out of mind, like the cracked Constitution, and many a keel time never shall renew. Bonum. Dick o' the buff revolution, the black cockade and the staunch true blue. Doff hats to Decatur, but where is his blazon? Must merited fame endure time's wrong? Glory's ripe grape wizen up to a raisin? Yes, for nature teems, and the years are strong, and who can keep the tally o' the names that fleet along? But his frigate, wife, his bride? Would blacksmith's brown into smithereens smite the solid old renown? Riveting the bolts in the ironclad's shell, hark to the hammers with a rat-tat-tat. Handier a derby than a laced cocked hat. The Monitor was ugly, but she served us right well, better than the Cumberland, a beauty and the Belle. Better than the Cumberland, heart alive in me, that battlemented hull, Tantallon o' the sea, kicked in, as at Boston the taxed chests o' I, spurned by the ram, once a tall, shapely craft, but lopped by the Rebs to an iron-beaked raft. A blacksmith's unicorn in armor cap a pie. Under the waterline a ram's blow is dealt, and foul fall the knuckles that strike below the belt. Nor brave, the inventions that serve to replace the openness of valor while dismantling the grace. Aloof from all this in the never-ending game, tantamount to teetering, plot and counterplot. Impenetrable armor, all perforating shot. Aloof, bless God, ride the warships of old, a grand fleet moored in the roadstead of fame. Not submarine sneaks with them are enrolled. Their long shadows dwarf us, their flags are as flame. Don't fidget so, wife. An old man's passion amounts to no more than this smoke that I puff. There, now, bus me in good old fashion. A died-down candle will flicker in the snuff. But one last thing let your old babbler say, what Decatur's coxswain said who was long ago. Here's, take in your flying kites, for there comes a lubber's day when gallant things will go, and the three-deckers first. My pipe is smoked out, and the grog runs slack. But bose away, wife, at your blessed bohea. This empty can here must needs solace me. Nay, sweetheart, nay. I take that back. Dick drinks from your eyes and he finds no lack.